Hello everybody, it's me Jimmy here, and I am back with another top 10 video. Today, I'm going to be showing you my top 10 favorite Gamecube games. Now, I have quite a few Gamecube games. I have like 40, give or take a couple. Maybe around 45, maybe a little less, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I have at least 40. Um, so, today I'm going to be showing my top 10 favorite Gamecube games. So, I have a couple rules I placed down because it helps narrow down the list. Because there's a lot of games I could have put on this list. Because I grew up playing the GameCube, and I played a lot of the GameCube games. So to help narrow this list down, I basically decided to only choose games that I own, that I currently own, not games that I owned previously. Because I own quite a few. So this knocked down like at least 10 games easy off the list. So yeah. So basically, I'm just gonna do some honorable mention. These are the ones that I previously owned. Uh, Not all the ones, because I own quite a few, but ones that would have both most definitely I would have fought to be on my list. So these games were F-Zero GX. Now, those of you may be wondering why I got rid of these games. So I might go into a little bit of detail on why. So for F-Zero GX, though I liked the game, I'm never really a huge racing fan, and the only person I really played this game with was my cousin, and once in a while, like a few of my friends. I might have played it like once a year, and I wasn't really that into it. Like I liked the whole customization of the cars and the story mode, which got really challenging up to a certain point, well, basically impossible. If you've beaten that story mode, applause to you, and anybody watching this should also applaud you because if you played that, you know how hard it is. So I got rid of it just because I barely played it, but it's still a really good game. Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance. Now, I recently sold this game basically because I got like I got like $35 used for it at Entertainment Overload, which is in Welland, and I think there's one in St. Catharines. And that's basically where I go and sell most, like trade most of my games off. So I couldn't really turn that down. And although I liked the game, I beat it like 3 times, so I doubt I would play it again. So I figured I might as well get rid of it. But this game sort of spawned my whole turn-based strategy love for games, like the whole like board game sort of style. So it would have possibly made it on my list I if I didn't get rid of it. Next up is Pokemon Colosseum and Pokemon XD Gale Darkness. Now, Pokemon Colosseum is mainly like like the one that I would have chose, but I also got rid of Gale Darkness. So, although I love these games, in fact, when I first got them, I didn't really know of the whole concept of like this style game because it was new. So I thought it was going to be like a 3D sort of Game Boy Pokemon, if you know what I mean. So I thought like I chose my starters and traveled around, which would have been awesome. But that wasn't the case. Especially on the back, it showed the 3 starters from Gen 3. But, heh. But anyways, when I started playing this game, I really got into it. And I loved it. It was awesome. The whole shadow Pokemon thing and having to turn them over to, like, back to being good was pretty cool. But it sort of lost its touch after a while. Although the games are awesome, I thought to myself, I'm never going to play them again. So, I decided to get rid of them because chances of me playing them pretty slim. So I figured might as well get rid of them. And at the time, I got pretty decent price for them. I got like 20 each or something like that. So I wasn't arguing with that. And what next? Now, I'm also going to mention a few games that I actually own, but I didn't put on this list for whatever reasons. So, these games were iNinja. If you never played, I would check it out. It was in a fight with my number 10, and I chose my number 10 over. What else? There's so much I could have chose. Like, there's a lot of Sonic games I could have chose, the Metroid series, and all kinds of stuff. But there's my number 10 below. So enough with this honorable mention stuff. I'm gonna jump into the number 10. I mean, I'm gonna jump into the countdown. So let us begin. Number 10. Alright, so my number 10 game is Vex. Now, this game here, I never seen the commercials for it. I had no clue what it was about. I went to 210 below. I seen the game. I was like, okay, it looks pretty cool. It has, some guy, like wolf-looking guy there with claws, and he looks angry about something. There's big eyeballs in the background with Vex, like in large letters. So that should have caught my attention. But I didn't know what it looked like, so I turned it around and I looked at the back. So it showed some guy here, I'm assuming his name is Vex, climbing up rocks. Then showed him fighting some big guy over here, and showed him fighting some little guy up here, and something here. And I was reading it. It was basically his world overthrown, his people in prison, his family murdered, and he's basically seeking revenge. And that sounded awesome. And at the time, I never really played anything like this sort of game. I basically played a lot of Mario and Sonic and just a lot of those style of games, but didn't really have a lot of darker atmosphere. So when I played this, it was pretty cool, and I never actually played any action games like this, going around actually killing things or blood, and it was pretty cool. And it was really fun. Though a lot of stuff was challenging, like that big sumo guy you see in the back there. Yeah, I had to try to fight that thing. He wasn't one of the big guys you had to fight, but he was just like a side guy, and I had such a hard time against that one. But there's like multiple versions of him. I beat most of them, but that one I had a lot of trouble with. So basically, as I said, you're Vex, you're seeking revenge, and you find these gauntlets. These gauntlets have a lot of power. And when you find these, you end up stealing them and using them to your advantage. And that's what you see on the cover there, those claws. Those claws are actually the gauntlets. So, it's pretty cool. And you basically go out trying to kill the big bad. And you basically go around gathering, I think, hearts or something like that. And you use these hearts. They sort of act like the stars in Super Mario. I mean, not the stars, the shine sprites in Super Mario Sunshine. Right? You have to get a certain amount of them and go on to the next world. That's basically how they work. And I think each world had about 10, but they were all pretty interesting on how you get them. Some were like in the walls or in pictures and stuff like that. Others were you had to kill a certain boss, or you see what I'm getting at. They had a wide variety, so it never got boring. Like you had those sumo guys where you had to sort of like sumo wrestle them, and you're like this big, and they're like so. It got challenging. It got fun. So sometimes frustrating, but I think a lot of games had that. So like if you die a lot, you do get somewhat frustrated. But other than that, the game was pretty solid. I don't remember the controls too much because it's been probably about 10 years since I played. But I always wanted to go back to it. But I got so many games. I got like, let's see, like 5 games for the Xbox I haven't played. The Xbox 360 I haven't played yet. I got 2 for the PlayStation 2. And like 5 for the DS I haven't even played yet. So I have a lot of games I have to play before I play games that I've already played. So, but it's a game I'll definitely go back to when I get a moment of free time. So, if you haven't played it yet, I would definitely check it out. So, let's move on to my number 9. Number 9. Okay, so my number 9 game is a game I think everybody knows, and I think people who have played it and liked it do want a sequel. I think there's one coming out for the 3DS. I think it's coming out like this year, in 2013. So I'm hoping when it does, I'm definitely gonna grab it. This game is Luigi's Mansion. Now, a lot of people who played this game, a lot of them didn't like it because it wasn't the Mario style. You know, the 3D platformer. I mean, not 3D platformer, like the platformer. And there's the thing. Luigi is not Mario. If you want to play a Mario game, I would buy a Mario game. But if you buy a Luigi game, especially one that says Luigi's Mansion, that has ghosts on the cover, you might be in for a different feel. And basically every Luigi's game is him trying to rescue Mario, which I feel a little bad for because his whole job is just to rescue Mario and just be Mario's sidekick, which it's alright, but I feel like he needs a game where he can really shine and be Luigi, not be Luigi basically helpless because he's trying to save Mario. But this game was awesome for the time, and I loved it. It was so different. It was also the very first game that I actually bought my own money. It was in a store near where I live called Movie Madness, and I think they're still going. Like when I was younger, I used to go there all the time and sort of like talk like with one of the two of the workers, and I used to like watch Tom and Jerry shows with the girl who used to work there, and it was a really nice and just a fun time. And they had like all these games, and one of them was Luigi's Mansion, and I decided to buy it because I was working at a local feed store, and I had the money, so I asked them how much would they sell it to me for, and I think they were originally asking like 20 for it, but they said okay, we'll sell it to you for 10. So I was like, awesome. So yeah, it's the first game I ever bought, and I don't regret it. And so basically with this game, it's basically you're Luigi, and you just want a mansion or something like that. And Mario was going to meet you there. When you get there, Mario's nowhere in sight. And you go in, and you instantly get attacked by a ghost. So obviously you scare it out, and this is where you run into Professor E, or Gizmo, as I like to call him. So Gizmo gives you this device that allows you to capture ghosts. And he goes, okay, go in there and rescue your brother. And Luigi asks him, you know, have you seen my brother? And he says, a guy in a red suit and overalls, yes, he was here and blah blah blah. You get the routine. So Luigi goes in, and his job is to rescue Mario. The controls are pretty simple. I think if you press the A or B button, nothing really happened. All you did was call up Mario, which was a little weird because I don't think it had a purpose. But it was sort of interesting because you're looking for Mario, right? And you know where he is, so calling up Mario is an obvious idea. I don't think it did anything. Not that I can remember. If it did, please let me know. I don't think it did. It was just sort of there. And when he called, he had like this sort of a scared voice to him, like he was terrified because, you know, you're walking through a mansion full of ghosts. You're terrified. Like if you can visibly see the ghosts and they're trying to kill you, you would be scared. So that was a pretty interesting feel. Basically, as I said, you go through the mansion capturing ghosts using this machine. And every time you capture a ghost, it's gone for good. So that's a pretty nice thing. So you don't have to keep on backing up and oh, there's a ghost again. There he is again. There he is again. So it was sort of nice that when he killed off the ghost, he was gone for good. And the cool thing was too, they also dropped money. And when you kill all the ghosts in a certain area, the lights would turn off. So that was also nice. So it helped you to know like which ghosts you captured, which ones you haven't yet, and so it helped you like clear out an entire area, which was awesome. There's also bosses in this game. Each of the bosses, though pretty simple, were somewhat challenging at first because you didn't know how you have to interact with them. Some of them you have to like shine. I think one of them you have to like shine a light in the mirror or something like that, and it hits it. There's like a baby one, which I really remember. That was pretty fun. There's like these two dancers are dancing, and you piss them off, and they do all sorts of crazy shit. I remember there being a dog you have to kill or capture, and throughout the game you're also gathering money. And the goal at the end of the game is to have the most money. It's like your points. And you find it everywhere. You find money in the toilet, you find money in the toilet paper, you find money in the doghouse. Every time you capture a ghost, I think you got some money. There's certain ghosts that gave you a crap load of money. There's money in the pictures. There's money everywhere in this game. So you really have to look around and search. And I don't think I've gotten all the money in this game, because there's a lot. Also throughout the game, but a third of the way through or something like that, you release the booze. And there's 100 booze in the game. And a side quest is to capture all the booze. Now, I never did this. I tried. I got up to like 99, and I could never find that 100 boo. I always thought it was a glitch or something, or I sort of thought maybe it was the final boss. I'm not going to put too much details on that, but that wasn't the case. And I searched every room, and I could not find the last boo. And this time I didn't own our computers, and I still don't use like cheats when I'm playing a game. And I try to beat the game myself. I'm not gonna look it up. I want to try to figure out stuff myself, unless I really have no idea where to go. Like, if the game just sort of drops you in, and it's like, you do what you have to do, and you're just like, what do I do? And you spend like, if I spend like an hour or two looking for something to do, and I still haven't found it, then I might look up a quick walkthrough to see where I have to go. But that's very, very rare. And so like, I had no clue like where this last boo was, and it's not like I just did like a quick look. I must have easily played this game the first time for like 5 hours just trying to find that boo, and I could not find it. And I remember one boo escaping me and going into the wall. And as soon as it goes into a wall at a certain spot or a certain area, it completely disappears for good. And this happened to me more than once, that same boo. So it never returns, it never comes back, you can't find it again. There's a small glitch. I think it's a glitch. So that was a bit of a hassle. But other than that, the whole game was really fun, really interesting, and definitely worth it. And as I said, I've heard rumors of a 3DS version. So if it comes out, I'll definitely buy it. Does it? No loss. Number 8. Okay, so my number 8 is a really awesome action adventure game. And I think everybody has played this, or at least played a certain game to the series of it. This game is Prince of Persia. Now, Prince of Persia is just an incredible game. Like, I think this is also one of those games I bought at Entertainment Overload, and I loved it. Like, it was just amazing for its time. The battle system, the whole story, and everything was awesome. And I remember much of this game, how much I loved it, and I had to have it on this list. With Prince of Persia, though I can play it basically any time, it's just one of those. I don't really play it that often. I beat it, and that was basically it. As I watching a movie, most of the time with movies, once you watch it once, you really don't feel like buying it unless it's like one of those movies where you'll watch it over and over, such as like, for me, I like Austin Powers, because I like comedies, and I've never a huge James Bond fan, but I like the comedy stuff, so like Austin Powers, I watch those all the time. And like, a lot of other movies I can't really think of at the moment. So, basically, but the game's story was pretty interesting. You're the prince. You're trying to steal this dagger, which controls like this time, and that's how the game starts. You're trying to steal this dagger, so it sort of shows you how the game works, how you fight, how you interact, and it was really nice. How that opened up basically in a war zone, and you're trying to help out your people. And it was really nice to see something like that. It was sort of like God of War in a way, like the game sort of threw you in the tutorial, but it didn't feel like a tutorial. This was one of those games that did not feel like a tutorial to me. And it was really nice, really fun, and then the game got really good down the road. You're killing all these like sand demons off, and you can control time, which it controlled really well. Like, I thought maybe with the whole backing up of time, the controls would get all a little glitchy, but no, it never got glitchy at all. And that's something that could easily been screwed up if the designers and developers and all those people did not do their job right. And they did. And because of that, they made an awesome game that spawned the movie. Anyways, if you haven't played it, definitely pick it up. But everything in this game was just flawless. Number 7. Alright, so my number 7 is a game that people tend to know that I'm not a huge fan of. But this was the one that really got me to like this series. That game was The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. Like, before this, I did play Ocarina of Time on my N64, and I played the original, which I liked. But I'm never really a big fan of the Legend of Zelda series. Ocarina of Time, I did not like the camera, the Z targeting, and if you watch a bit of like my Let's Play of it, I should probably post more of them, but I I kept on getting angry with the camera because it just wanted you dead. But with the new Wind Waker, it was awesome. Like, the camera worked a lot better. The game was like a cartoony look to it, which at the time, at my age, that was the sort of games I was playing, the whole like cartoony look. So I sort of added to that feeling, and it not only was it cartoony, it also had a more adult feel for being cartoony, which I love too. And it was just incredible. I don't know what else to say with this game. And it made you feel awesome. Like, it made you feel like you're on an adventure all the time. Like, sailing the seven seas and spending your way and bombing stuff and searching for treasure. It was amazing. And it made me feel like I dove into the game and I had a bit more of a I could have done more. With like the other Legend of Zelda games, I felt like you were sort of on a one-track path. I mean, you could have done other stuff, but that sort of helped out your main goal. With this here, a lot of the islands didn't really grant a lot of stuff, but it was cool being able to discover all this new stuff and be like, oh, this island here had all these chests full of rupees, and this island here, I found this, and it was pretty cool. And though a lot of people who've watched me play it thought like the game was sort of boring because all you're doing is sailing around, And but that's not the case. There's a lot more depth into the game. Now, if you don't like to explore and you just like to sort of go from point A to point B, this game is probably not for you. But it added a whole new feel to the series, and I loved it. And I basically my first experience with Wind Waker, or the most memorable experience with Wind Waker, is actually the first time I played it, and it wasn't the actual game I played; it was a demo on the Zelda Collector's Edition that came with the Gamecube when it came out. And out of all the games on that Collector's Edition, I played Wind Waker the more. I played like that demo so many times that I could do it almost blindfolded. And as soon as the game came out, I grabbed it and I loved it. And I don't know what else to say. So let's move on to my number 6. Number 6. Alright, so my number 6 is probably my favorite in the series, and that is Mario Kart Double Dash. Now, you may be wondering why the case is all like this. You know, it doesn't really have the actual picture. Well, that's because my friend gave this to me. He found it in the parking lot of a at the bank, and he didn't know like, where it came from, what store it was. It didn't have anything inside showing like the store or anything like that. And he didn't own a GameCube, so he knew I did. So he's like, "Do you want this game?" And I took it. And out of all the Mario Kart games, this is my favorite. It had fun tracks, the controls were decent, and the whole tag team idea was awesome at the time. You know, it was like you either team up with your friends or having a dual driver action thing, which is pretty cool. Because like each of the characters you played as had different abilities and got different like weapons. So like the Toads, which I use most of the time, they got a lot of mushrooms. So you just constantly got speed boosts. Like I recently played this with my friend DJ, and when I played, I must have got like 10 of those gold mushrooms in a row. But it's pretty awesome. Like if you combine certain characters, you got certain stuff too. So like if you combine, let's say, a Koopa with one of the Toads, you got a wide variety of shells and mushrooms. So like if you combine two certain characters, you got a pretty cool arsenal of stuff coming for you, which I thought was awesome too. And the other one, they never had this. Each character had the certain items, and other characters, and that's basically it. With this one here, characters also have special items. So as I said, the Toad's special item was the golden mushroom. Mario's special item, and Luigi's was the fireball. The baby Mario and Luigi had the Garchomp. Oh no, not Garchomp. The Chain Chomps. Um, and it was just cool. And it was sort of a new feeling that I never felt in a Mario Kart game before. Now with this, I think the controls are a little floaty, but it sort of goes with the game in some sense. So they're floaty like you're on like an air hockey table. The tracks are big enough where it doesn't really affect the game, and I'd never really noticed it until recently. But it was not big of a deal, and like you get used to the floaty controls. It's sort of like the original in some sense, because the original sort of had floaty controls, but with the original, the tracks were small, and like I never liked the original version of Mario Kart for the SNES. I played it with my friend DJ, and it was just really floaty and just hard to play. But with this one here, I had no issues with it, and that's basically it for that part. Now this game does have multiplayer. you're able to play up to four people. There's three different battle tracks or battle rounds. There was the normal like balloon battle. There is the shine sprite, which is basically capture the flag, but you have to hold on to it for an X amount of time. By whoever held on to it the longest won. And bomb battle, which if you have a bunch of people, gets pretty freaking crazy. Like all you get are bombs. And if you choose the Gamecube level, wow. You can't. It's just an arena full of people throwing bombs at each other. If that's not awesome, I don't know what is. And you also, as I mentioned earlier, you can also do co-op. So one person drives, the other person shoots. Now, usually when I played this, I was the one who shot, because I had pretty. In this game, I had spot on aim with the green shells. So I usually shot, but the other person drove, so I would be like turn slightly to the right, and then I'll throw a shell and hit the opponent, or turn to the right and I'll throw a shell backwards and hit someone behind me. It was pretty awesome. And you're able to punch if you're like the weapon, the one throwing the weapons, and if you're driving, you're just driving. You don't really, that's all you're basically doing. And basically, the only issue with the co-op was if you were in first, you really had no worries. So if you're the one who's throwing items, you just basically sat there while the other person played. But when you had a chance to play, it felt cool. And if you were the driver, it's basically all you're doing is, as I said before, driving. So you're basically working. So the downside to being the one in the backseat throwing the stuff is that once you're in first, your purpose is sort of lost. But if you're the driver, you're constantly working. You just can't stop. So there's a bit of ups and downs for both sides. So yeah, that's basically it for this game. My most memorable part of this game was just basically playing with my friends. Like the basically the battle mode with the bomb was my most memorable part. And that's it. So let's move on to my number 5. Number 5. Okay, so my number 5 is Star Fox Assault for the GameCube, obviously. So this game was incredible to me. Now, truth be told, this was the second Star Fox game I played. The first being Star Fox Adventure, which people didn't seem to like because it took Star Fox out of space and put him on land. You didn't have the blaster, you had the staff. It went against the game, which I understand people hatred for it. But looking at it just from a game standpoint, not like a franchise standpoint, it was not that bad of a game. But the game that really shined for me was Star Fox Assault. Now, I never played the N64 version, so at that time, like I've obviously played it now, but at the time, I never played it. The game I did play was Star Fox Assault, and this game was incredible to me. You played as Star Fox, and you had the choice of being on land or in the sky. You could use the R-Wing, you could use the Landmaster, which I was killer with the Landmaster. Man, was I killer with the Landmaster. Like, in PvP, if you had R-Wing and I had the Landmaster, there was a 95% chance I was gonna kill you before you killed me. If I was in the R-Wing, there was a good chance that you were gonna kill me because I was not good with it. But this game was just so fun. The graphics were excellent. The worlds were just beautiful. It even brought back certain characters from the Adventure series, like Trixie, which was also nice. It was sort of like going down memory lane. It's like, oh yeah, I just played that whole adventure. It's so nice, and it was just a really fun experience. And I don't really know like what else to add to this game. Like this game has excellent multiplayer, has excellent like the story is excellent, the controls are excellent. It was just really fun, and it was also challenging. Like a lot of levels got hard, and I died quite a bit. Like I don't know how many times I could say, but it got challenging. It got hard, and the whole game is just awesome. Being able to fight on both land and in the air, and having a different variety of weapons you can use, and different variety of enemies and bosses, and so much that the game never got boring. I easily beat this game like 10 times, and it was just such an excellent experience. Like my favorite thing with this game was like when you're flying in the R-wing, you're able to stand out of it, like stand up while the thing flew, and stand on top of like the cockpit. And when I did that, I used to always shoot down at people instead of using the R-wing. I stood on top of the R-wing and just shot down, like standing on top of the R-wing. So it was sort of funny because like usually when people shot at me, they thought I was inside the plane, and so there was like of course I did this like pretty like strategically. So I would use the R-wing quite a bit, and then when it got weak, I would get low enough to the ground, so if it blew up and I fell, I wouldn't die. But I was also high enough that they couldn't see me stand on top of it, so they would just shoot the plane, and I was able to shoot down like the grenades or use my blaster and shoot them from there. And I killed quite a bit, and it was just sort of it was like my fondest memory. And as I said before, I was awesome with the Landmaster, and I had a lot of fun playing this game with my friends. And if my friends, next time my friends come down, I might actually recommend playing this game because it's awesome. That's not all I really have to say about this game. I don't really have too much else to add on. So let's move on to my number 4. Number 4. Alright, so my number 4. As everybody knows, I am a huge fan of Sonic. So, obviously you know Sonic is going to be on this list. And the Sonic game I chose to be at number 4 is Sonic Riders. Now, I don't really know people's general opinion with this game, because obviously I don't really care about their opinion. Like, I watch reviews sometimes, mainly because they're funny. It's funny to see like people play frustrating games and yell and scream, because we've all been there and it's funny to us. So, because we're not the one being tortured. But Sonic Riders was an incredible experience for me. Because for one, I was never the greatest fan of racing games. And I think a lot of people knew that about me. And basically, if you played me in a racing game, you would pretty much definitely win. If I won, you basically sucked, because I was horrible at them. Because I never played them. And the only games I actually liked were like combat racing games. So, one of the games I remember most playing was Red Asphalt for the PlayStation 1. And I had a lot of fun playing that game, by the way. So that was like the extent of my racing experience. Like, I played like some Need for Speed with my cousin, but this game here is awesome to me because I love racing games. I don't like. I love Sonic games, and this game here sort of just took the cake because not only was the game fun, it had great music, story was great, and the game kept the fast-paced feeling that I and other Sonic fans love in the Sonic series, while introducing 3 new characters, which were Jet, Wave, and Storm. Well, while playing this game, I could feel the rivalry between Jet and Sonic. Jet wanted to prove that Sonic isn't all he was cracked up to be, while Sonic wanted to prove that he was the fastest hedgehog, whether or not he ran or used a different or used the hoverboard. So this game had that cool aspect. It sort of explained why Sonic wasn't running. He wanted to prove that he could win regardless of what he used. And he did. This game also had cool power-ups, a fast-paced game, obviously excellent music. Because all Sonic games have excellent music, even the bad ones. And I remember spending so much time playing this game, like months at a time playing this game. Trying to beat all the levels, trying to get all the accomplishments, and I also remember spending days trying to beat that last cursed Babylon City level. Man, I had a hard time on that. It just, I got so close and then it would fall and it was just, oh man. It's like we all know those experiences where like, you just get to the finish line, you can just reach it, and then you get hit, and then you're done. And I loved playing this game with a friend. The multiplayer was really fun. You had like all these combat stages, and you either race or you would fight in an arena, and it was so much fun. You got to choose between a variety of other characters and different vehicles, and hoverboards, and it was just a lot of fun. And I have no regrets with this game, which is why it's so high on my list. And if anyone was like, "Hey, you want to play Sonic Riders?" I would say yes. It would be a game. I wouldn't even have to hesitate. I would just say yes. So let's move on to my number 3. Number 3. Okay, my number 3 is Kirby Air Ride. Now, this game is just so much fun. Now, I have always been a huge fan of Kirby games. Ever since I played his games on my Game Boy, his very first game on my Game Boy, I loved him. And every game of his that I played has been good or just great. And though there are a bunch of games I haven't played, Kirby Air Ride would still be one of the top ones on my list. Now, I have never been much of a racing game fan. In fact, I mentioned that a few times. I mostly played Mario Kart and a bit of Red Asphalt. But then Kirby Air Ride came into the picture. The racetracks were unique and colorful and vibrant and each one had a different feel and look to it that added a whole new different feel and element to the racing games. But I mostly played the battle mode, which was awesome, having a pretty wide open area to explore while still having Kirby power-ups and to help you win the races and the battles. Plus, you had a nice wide variety of stars to choose from. My favorite was the Shadow Star. And you were able to play as Meta Knight and King Dedede as well when you unlocked them. You could also unlock 2 legendary stars. These were called Hydra and Dragoon. The game also had a huge amount to do because it has a list of achievements that you could unlock. These achievements were like how to unlock the Hydra, how to unlock the Dragoon, just try and kill X amount of this in like 30 seconds or something like that, and it was pretty awesome. It was a nice little feature in the game. And I remember spending hours just trying to get all the achievements, and I just my favorite parts, the most memorable stuff I have of this game are my memories. Basically, most of it was from my friends and I playing this game, because we always found fresh ways to add to the game. Like we would maybe just sometimes we would just play the game and just just like run around as Kirby. We didn't even fight. We just ran around as Kirby, just being silly, or we would just have fun. We'd do like some sort of like beat the boss. So we'll have somebody play as King Dedede or Meta Knight, and they were the boss. And the Kirby's had to defeat Meta Knight or King Dedede, and it was just a lot of fun. And it was just a lot of good memories. And I also remember I even made it like my own time trial in the battle world, where you had to complete a series of events as fast as you can, such as fly to the top of the tower, then kill the tree, and so on and so forth, or cut down all the trees and then kill the big tree. I wish I knew where I put the paper that had all the stuff you had to do on it, because I remember finding it not that long ago. I'm not sure if I threw it out or if I still have it stored somewhere. But it was just so much fun, and if they ever come up with a Kirby Air Ride 2 for the Wii or even the Wii U, when I get the Wii U, I would definitely pick it up. So that's basically it. So let's move on to my number 2. Number 2. Alright, so my number 2 is Tales of Symphonia. Now, I was born in 92, so I grew up with the Nintendo 64, Gamecube, and I got a PlayStation pretty late. I think the PlayStation 2 was out at the time. So I never really got a chance to play any of the Wild Arms or Final Fantasy VII. In fact, I still haven't even played those till even today. The first one I did play though was Tales of Symphonia for the GameCube. Now I love this game. I love the story, I love the music, I love the characters, I love the combat system, I love the atmosphere. I love everything with this game. I forgot a bit of the story because it's been a while since I played, but from what I remember, you play as your protagonist Lloyd, as he and his friends battle against the Empire for freedom. Throughout the adventure, you meet new friends, gain unexpected rivals, and you get to feel a strong bond between Lloyd and Colette. Not only did this game spawn my love for RPGs and JRPGs, it also spawned my love for all of the Tales series, such as Tales of Legendia and for the PlayStation 2, and Tales of Vesperia for the Xbox 360. Now, that's all I have to say about this game. I don't really know what else to say. Although I do know quite a bit with this game, I don't want to ruin anything, so let's move on to my number 1. Number 1. Okay, everybody, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. My number 1 is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. What can I say about this game that hasn't been said before? Everybody who even people who don't like Sonic love this game. People who played the original version for the Dreamcast love this game. And I don't know what I can say, but I'm going to try to do this game justice. Now, as I said earlier, this game was originally released for the Sega Dreamcast, and it was re-released for the Gamecube with upgraded controls and graphics. Now, I never played the originals on the Dreamcast. In fact, I never played the Sega Dreamcast period. But even fans of the original love this game. The story is simple. The simple Sonic stuff. Dr. Robotnik is, of course, trying to take over the world, and it's up to you to stop it. But the cool thing was that you got to play as both the heroes and the villains, so you got to see both of their sides. What Dr. Robotnik did to control Sonic, to control Shadow, and what Sonic had to go through to win, and to defeat Eggman, or Dr. Robotnik. Both sides had 3 characters, and you played as each character. But no, okay, both sides had 3 characters you played as. Each held the same purpose, so you never had to use a new character and figure out its controls. They all had the same controls, basically. Sonic and Knuckles were the speed aspects of the game, so they had a lot of more fast-paced platforming sections. Tails and Dr. R both used robots, and Knuckles and Rouge both went after the shards of the Master Emerald. The only issue I have with this game was the Tails aspect of the game. I wish they would have changed that a little bit. I understand Dr. Robotnik being in a robot or a mech suit, but Tails, although he's smart, he has the ability to fly, and he has all the stuff that he used in Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut, and that they just sort of got rid of for Adventure 2. And it was sort of boring at times, because you just went around shooting stuff and didn't really have a purpose. You just going from point A to point B shooting stuff, and it was sort of boring. It didn't really add a lot to it. It was just sort of draggy, and I didn't feel like Tails. I felt like Tails would have been better off with the flying stuff and the platforming, and even if he has some sort of weapon, maybe he used a wrench as a weapon or something. But it just didn't feel like Tails. I know Tails is smart, but it felt off to me. But other than that, I have really no issues with the game. Even that issue I did have isn't that big of a deal and barely affects how I play this game. Now, I love everything about this game. The excellent gameplay, challenging levels, and excellent music. I bet everybody knows the music for these games. The 2 most iconic ones is Live and Learn, which you heard in the opening cinematic, and the first level, Escape the City. They basically say it all for this game. In fact, my fondest memories were of my cousin and I playing the first level of this game over and over and over and over and over. Half the time just sitting there listening to the music, because if you went to like that truck area, the music stopped and changed to a more hardcore music, and it's sort of not the same. So it was just so much fun, so much great memories. I also remember near the end of the Sonic campaign, where you are in that room where you have to flip all the switches, and the switches like reverse the flow of gravity, so you have to run across like sides of wall, like the weird Tetris-shaped platforms, and try to get to the certain platform. And I had so much problems with that because I did not know what I had to do. I did not know where to go, how to do it. And even the first time I did do it, I didn't know what I did to do it. So if I died, I was like, crap, what did I do? The first time I did it, I think I sort of cheated somehow. But it was just, that was like what I loved. This game was, it was challenging. The grinding aspects of this game were awesome. I don't know, like, I can just sort of like fanboy it up with this game because it was just so much fun. So I don't know what else to say. I could go on, but I'll just then repeat myself because I have a habit of doing. So I guess I'll see you next time. And I think for my next videos, I might do a PlayStation 2. This is my favorite PlayStation 2 games. I'm also going to be doing some more Pokemon. And so I think I'm doing my top 5 favorite designs and worst designs of each generation. So I'll probably be working on those pretty soon. So, thank you, and I will see you next time.